Hi, and welcome to A View from the Bed. This is a CHI St. Vincent podcast where we talk to real patients about their healthcare perspective. We know that your healthcare journey can be scary, so that's why we want to get their view on the good, the bad, and the ugly from diagnosis to recovery. Enjoy today's episode. Well, hey guys, welcome back to our podcast, A View from the Bed. We're going to be talking to Bradley today. Bradley went through the Heart Smart Heart Screening Program at St. Vincent. And so we're just going to hear about his journey today. So welcome, Bradley.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here and kind of share the experiences I had.
Well, tell us a little bit about what even prompted you to want to go through like a heart screening program.
So there's a guy named Jim Ford that is in real estate in Park Hill over in North Little Rock. And I was out shoveling in the front of my house, like some mud to get off my sidewalk. And he was driving through looking at some properties, and I was out there. We're pretty good buddies from, the real estate agency that he has, as well as a local bar. But anyway, he was talking about this Heart Smart program. There's several in Little Rock at each of the hospitals. And at that time, he just shared his experience that his life was saved. He didn't have a heart attack, but he had a family that had some coronary heart diseases throughout, uncles and even aunts, women and men, both in his family. So we went to go through that program at CHI St. Vincent's, and they actually cured him, or he was successfully treated with stents.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he didn't have to go through open heart surgery, but he just went on and on about the program. Mm-hmm. So that had been in the back of my mind for a while. That was actually 2016.
Oh, wow.
So, I work in healthcare now, right across the street at Arkansas Spine and Pain. And I've just had some friends just recently, just fall out dead from major heart attacks.
Oh, my.
And knowing about the same thing of what Jim shared as his experiences, it's in my family as well.
Okay.
You like 58 years old, I said, it's time to see what's going on. I also live downtown in a loft, and I just moved, and I went from an elevator to stairs. And during that time, it was, I was out of breath.
I bet.
So knowing that in the back of my head, I was thinking something's wrong with my heart, something's wrong with my lungs. I didn't know what was going on. I did call around to all the hospitals and said, man, I want to get in as soon as I can. I want these tests done. It's very inexpensive. So I did go through the heart hospital. I went to Baptist. I went to UAMS. And when I called CHI St. Vincent's, they got me in as quick as possible.
Oh, wonderful.
And pointing out one of the ladies that we mentioned earlier, Terry, all through the steps of that testing and even afterward, it was unreal what they've done for me. So I'll start to that point. The day of the testing, going in there, they got me in pretty quickly. It was within 30 days. These tests were very thorough. An EKG, it didn't take long. As soon as I got hooked up, seems like they were unhooking it. Mm-hmm. And the biggest one was the CT scan of my heart.
Okay. Yeah, the calcium score.
The calcium score.
Okay.
And then they did some Dopplers and some other things that's part of that program. So it was well worth the $79, or I forget how much it was. Well, so all those tests were complete. I felt real confident about it. And I'm not kidding you, the very next day, she called and said, Brad, let's just go over these results. You'll also get these in the mail. So going through those results, everything looked good because I've got a real close relationship with my endocrinologist for diabetes. I've got a really good close relationship with my PCP. So Terry said, everything looked good as far as my labs and on my blood panel. She said, but I've got to talk to you really serious about your coronary calcium score.
Oh, yeah.
The CT scan of my heart. And she said, Brad, now I know you've got that paper in your hand. And she said, I wanted to tell you that a 0 score in that area is what everybody would like. Meaning you don't have anything in your heart, no plaque or calcium buildup. She said, your score came in at 2,666.
Oh.
But she said, don't want you to just really, get upset or freak out.
Sure.
Because I have had people that have come in and had a score over 25,000. She said, but with everything else that you've got going on, which is the diabetes, some hypertension,
Sure.
all treated and controlled, of course, we needed further testing.
Okay.
And she relayed that to me in the nicest way possible, and that's exactly how I took it. So here we go. So I've got that coronary disease.
Okay.
The calcium score.
Yeah.
I was like, man, what is this in the first place? So first thing I do is start Googling everything. So
Dr. Google.
yeah, it was high for me. And just knowing, like I said, my background, and I have had uncles and aunts as well that have had heart disease. I've even had a couple of uncles that have passed from major heart attacks. So I was just itching to get in somewhere and get it rolling.
Yeah.
So they suggested going through CHI St. Vincent's, and my PCP, Dr. Simpson, referred me to Dr. Rao.
Okay.
And I've seen him before in the past doing a stress test, which everything that was about 2015.
Okay.
And everything was wonderful. But with that score, and I got that appointment, going in to talk to him, with that score, the first thing we did, we sat down and we, had some discussion, but he said, Brad, do you have any other symptoms that coordinate with this score? And I was like, well, I said, I just moved to a different loft, and I said, it has stairs. I said, tell you the truth, it was really hard. I couldn't hardly, get up and down the stairs. Well, I did, but it took some time. And I was really stressing as far as shallow breathing.
Oh, sure.
Shortness of breath, I'm sorry. One of the best physicians, because I have had a relationship with him before. So he said, Brad, I really think with that symptom that you have as far as being short of breath, and I did tell him too, on a couple of occasions I got up and I was kind of dizzy.
Oh, yeah.
So immediately with that type of a number, he said, let's go ahead and get you scheduled into a cath.
Okay.
Heart cath.
Yeah.
So, of course, there you go on Dr. Google again. What's that all about? I was really hoping that when that took place that we could get in and go in and just stent it, I'm pretty familiar with heart stents and stuff and how they, help folks as well.
Yeah.
So then, should I go ahead and tell you, like what happened after all that?
Absolutely.
Well, so I worked right up across the road at Arkansas Spine and Pain. I was ready to come into the next day to get the cath. I mean, this was like boom, boom, boom.
Sounds like
I wanted it that way because I was kind of nervous at that time.
Sure.
Like, gosh, I don't want to fall out here with the Widowmaker, knowing my past and history. So we were prepared for the heart cath. And then, of course, I was out of network through the CHI St. Vincent's. However, not only Terry, but that doctor's office, Dr. Rao, they did everything to get me back into network.
Oh, great.
And I'm telling you, they not only helped get that test for me, and they also had me set up, not in a St. Vincent's facility, but a competitor's Baptist, but knew that, it was going to be the best for me as well to get that heart cath, but within network, so I wouldn't have to pay so much. Briefly went through the heart cath, and Dr. Evan Watts did all that.
Okay.
I was kind of alert and oriented. This was 3 days later.
Okay.
And I said, man, that was really quick, because I got there that morning at 5:30. I was in the OR, and I was back out at a room at 6:20. I mean, it was really, really quick. It was like, holy Moses. I said, did you get the stent in or something? I just knew it was going to be a real brief type, surgery. He said, Brad, I'm going to tell you, I'm glad you came and got the cath. And he said, sure enough, you've got blockage in 2 of your main arteries.
Oh, wow.
And one of them was the big Widowmaker. And it was at that time 70% of the plaque that was causing the blockage. There you go again. And he said, well, I don't think we can, fix it with the stents. He said, I really would like and feel much safer if you would talk to one of our thoracic surgeons.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding you, within about an hour or so, one of their cardio thoracic surgeons came in, Dr. Poya Hamadi, discussed it at length as far as what would take place and what would happen. And man, being a previous Baptist employee, I mean, I said, I want to get this done as soon as possible.
I'm sure.
I mean, at that time, I knew things were I had some issues.
Yeah.
And I probably could have avoided surgery, with those stents, but he said he thought it would be better with the open heart surgery. So after that, I think it was about 4 or 5 days later, I was scheduled in the OR.
Oh my goodness.
And boom. It was January the 3rd. And I used to be a case coordinator there at Baptist. I knew in my mind that I had my own care path.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I want to get in, I want to get out, sew me up, and I'm going to start walking for you. I'm going to start breathing good. And, it just all happened really quickly.
I did. It sounds like it for sure.
It did. And I'm still thankful today. And the pain, I think I was so prepared in my mind and talking to other folks that I know that have had heart surgery or open heart surgery. I was prepared for the pain. I was prepared to get well. I wanted to sleep at an incline. I didn't want my lungs to get full or something.
Sure.
And actually, Dr. Hamadi came in. He said, Brad, he said, you were absolutely unreal through surgery. So within about 6 hours of doing the double bypass, which actually turned into a triple because they went in and found another artery that needed kind of cleaning too.
Yeah.
So it was a triple bypass.
Okay.
He said, you were great. It was 6-hour surgery, 56 minutes. Your heart was outside your body while we were, sewing in the new.
That's unreal.
Scared me to death. He did tell my mama, he said, Brad's heart was a little sluggish to get going again. I told people that, and they're like, you just gave me chills. And I said, well, I didn't see no bright lights or nothing, so I'm hoping I'm going to pull through. That team there was unreal, and it was all because of the CHI St. Vincent's and that team that actually got me to where I was to go ahead and go through all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm so very thankful for them, and I'm not kidding you, she's called Terry in that group. I've actually been over to see them.
Oh.
I mean, I'm thankful for the surgery team and that they went in and got it, but the initial contact and, how they so quickly got me in and we discovered everything going on, and that team was so well. I even complimented them during those testing. I said, we need some front desk people and some people with the energy at our clinic here at St. Vincent. So I was trying to recruit some of those folks, but I know, but I'm telling you, when they just called to follow up, even prior to the surgery and post the surgery, I was really, I have even made some referrals to people. My family now that it's over, it will be 8 weeks tomorrow.
I know.
I'm telling you, thank you so much. I've got my nephew that wants to come. My brother does pretty good. He's 13 years younger than me. He lives in Tulsa and works on the railroad, but there has been some times he said he's had some dizziness.
Oh, yeah.
I said, well, get in there. And he said, well, you have inspired me to go and get that test done. And I will forever compliment them and send them referrals in network or out of network. They were unreal.
Well, good. And I think you mentioned a couple of good points too, because even if you don't have a ton of symptoms, but let's say you're a diabetic, or maybe you've had high blood pressure for a while, I mean, those are indicators that something could be going on because, that diabetes puts you at a higher risk.
You're right.
High blood pressure, that can be a silent killer. It's a foundation of everything related. So, if anybody watching has been dealing with diabetes or high blood pressure for a while, go get checked out through the Heart Smart program, because you don't need a referral to do it. You can just go to the website, chistvincent.com/HeartSmart, and sign up. And like Bradley said, it's $75, but they do all the comprehensive tests. And just knowing that, I think, is so important, even if you don't have symptoms.
You're exactly right. That's so funny you asked or was talking about that. I actually asked the physician, Dr. Hamadi. I've really gotten to know him. I said, well, what was it? I said, I know I am a diabetic. I do have hypertension. I've eaten so bad in the past. The first word as a child was sugar.
Yeah.
Or candy bar. But anyway, make a long story short, he said, Brad, he said, tell you the truth. He said, I really think your plaque came from hereditary.
Yeah.
That I just actually, my family, a lot of them have had coronary heart disease and open heart surgeries just like I had and other things. So, but with those symptoms, it's always keep that in the back of your mind to stay as healthy as possible and get those types of tests that are offered.
That's right, because sometimes you can do everything right, but if you have that family history like you do, I mean, sometimes genetics outweighs a lot of the factors you can control, like diet, exercise, not smoking. That's a big one. So keeping those things in mind is really huge.
Yeah.
Because everything works together.
You're right.
To make sure that
It's funny, when I was doing that little questionnaire, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having to check so many of these things. So I had a lot of symptoms, or could have, but like I said, my diabetes has been controlled with Dr. Thrasher. He's been great. And I've got a really close connection with my PCP, and now have a close connection with that program.
Yeah.
And ask for Terry if you go get that test done, because she was amazing.
Terry is amazing, and she'll make sure that you get those results. And like Bradley says, I know that her team works really hard to get those results within at least 48 hours, if not sooner, like in Bradley's case, to make sure that people have the information just at their fingertips.
Right.
So I'm so glad that you found the program. And, if you want to leave our viewers with one tip that you felt was really important, what would that be?
I think it is the follow-up. And although I may be kind of medically inclined and I know everything, I think I know everything, I don't. And especially when you care so much for other people and patients, you got to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. So with those symptoms and with that program, I mean, now I'm a recovery patient that just had open heart surgery, and man, I have felt more energy. I was telling Dr. Kresge, my boss, I said, man, I was peppy prior to this. I said, you better get ready for 2024, because we're going to rock and roll with Arkansas Spine and Pain. I did tell him that. I was out with him all day today. I just drove in from Clinton. So he said, I think you're right. You're about half crazy anyway, but now you've got all this extra energy. I do feel like a different man. I really do.
That's awesome.
I feel better in here, and my vision and my outlook on life is very positive.
That's exciting, because sometimes you don't realize how you feel until you get something fixed, and then you're like, oh wow, I feel so much better than I felt before. If you don't realize it.
You got that right.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
So you know what? Go get your pep back in your step. If you haven't had a Heart Smart screening, make sure you do that. And until our next episode, not sure who we're going to be talking to, but join us next month when we have our new episode come out next month. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of A View from the Bed, A Patient's Perspective. We hope that you found it helpful. We hope that it helped you make your healthcare decisions. We hope that it made you feel a little more comfortable with your own journey. And we hope that you'll join us next time.